because I'm gonna try to time it where they do it during the summer of next summer. We'll have the ARPA money done, but where they can knock it all out while school's out and have it ready for the next school year.
Yeah,
have it
we'll
go
hit
from
padded up.
whatever date, May to August, and give it, that timeline to kind of crank it out in between them, but give them basically all fall and next spring
June, we
plan
do a
for
lot
it
of
so
just
they can
work
have
out.
it ready to go and
Just
just
go 4
go.
days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, is weights and conditioning, Wednesday.
Third day.
Tonight, it would be all football, so we'll do
Yep.
an hour of ball defense. We don't do it like any 11 or 11s or any scrimmages or anything.
It's,
Because
fed four kids.
Yep.
You don't
And,
long stop.
camps, like.
Oh, yeah.
So
Track.
that's where all the camps are, so guys
So,
go on, and
it's
then
going.
in July we'll hit,
We'll
do a lot of scrimmages. Our first scrimmage.
gotten big.
The official scrimmage, we scrimmaged Warsaw.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, man,
well,
that's
that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Well, they had them on that on schedule.
So, a lot of runs, I mean, those are always vanilla, but it'd be nice to be able to do it here.
You serious?
Come up here
Yeah.
and see stuff, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Plus,
It's,
to travel, right?
Jola's over 1,000 kids now, as far as just,
Kokomo.
and as far as.
Just ripped out part of the sidewalk and did this little
Why go
turn.
that far? Elkhart, I think we did.
Lake Street. I was
And
just
we
visiting
were at
Lake Street.
20 minutes.
It was a while ago, but I was just trying to figure out when they did that.
Scrimmaging Gary.
But yeah, just ripped out the sidewalk and reported
Down
it.
here. Division, right? With 3A.
They probably didn't put anything. Yeah, they
Now
just
we get
did
it.
it.
Warsaw's O line's gonna be fun to battle.
Dustin, can you take care of the button, please?
It's already done.
It's already on? Okay. All right.
You're the driver.
Welcome, everyone. Call this meeting to order. I don't have my gavel, did you? Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Lewis, you got it.
Hit it?
Lewis is big.
Thank you. That's official. Start off with oral written communications, the meeting minutes from May 1st meeting. Everyone will take a look at it, review, and give me a recommendation on whether we approve those minutes.
I did not see anything that concerned me at all, so I would move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Dustin.
I'll second.
We had a couple of them, Jason and Connie, thank you. All in favor that we approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, very good. I'd like to add one thing to the agenda. Under unfinished business, we'll go with number 1 and then add number 2. That will be traffic ordinances, stop signs that we've been reviewing. Start off with unfinished business. Dustin, you received some information that you want to share with us?
Yeah, up in the 700 block of North Lake Street, I had a resident call that had a hard time pulling in and out of her driveway due to traffic coming pretty quickly and some site visibility. I had Eric Alfine look into it. He's actually came up with some sort of a plan moving forward. There's a 20-foot no parking, I guess you would call it the length for the no parking for a site visibility. So we're going to work on painting some curbs and kind of updating those in the area. Made contact back with the resident to make sure that those help and see before we go any further. There were some cars that were parked kind of right in the middle of the no parking zone and things of that nature. So we'll brighten that up, give them an opportunity, and hopefully Dallas can help over-educate if need be, but we'll move from there. So.
He's good at that.
Yeah, very good.
All right. Any other discussion on that? So that can be handled by paint.
Yeah, well, I think that's what our first step is before we go too far or any movement from the board. Just wanted to kind of make it aware, also get it out kind of in the media that, being vigilant of where you're parking and making sure that we're all being kind of good neighbors, back to the mayor's priorities of being good neighbors and being courteous to others and making sure you're not blocking sight or causing some hazard. So.
Very good. All right. Move on to number 2, traffic ordinances. Jack's been working with Eric Hoffine and spending a lot of time on this. I'll let you take over here, Jack.
Okay, thank you, Lance. Yeah, and I want to thank Eric for his help with this, bringing these to our attention. What you're seeing today is, we'll call it phase 1 of 2 phases. Broke it up a little bit, tried to give you some maps, and I believe that Joel has got them maybe on the screen as well.
Excuse me, Jack, do you have the list here for that? Do you have an extra one, Jack, or a couple?
We got a couple.
No.
As a matter of fact, almost
This
any.
is a separate sheet. You will need, the mayor needed to also. Is it on there? Okay. Oh, it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. There are a number of maps, and I've tried to make this in a way that will be easy to follow. We're going to start out with map number 1, if you want to grab that, and then we will start with one-way stops. So the first one being 74-128, 306 is that particular sign, and it's I want to say too that I believe all of these signs are currently already in place. I'm getting a nod from Eric, so this is just a matter of getting it in ordinance. So the first one is 306, and it's at the southwest corner of North Point Drive and Husky Trail. You see that to the right of your map. The second one is 307. That's to the upper left corner. That's the northeast corner of North Point and Mariners Drive. Do we have any questions about those two or that map? If not, I'll move on. We'll start at the top of our list under four-way stop, and I apologize, I could have laid this out a little bit better, but we'll start with item number 20. So it's 74-131-20, and it is at Parker Street, Husky Trail, Patterson Road, and Menards parking lot. Patterson Road. Patterson Road really doesn't come into that, does it?
No, it turns into Patterson Road as you go.
Right,
past
so
one.
it's basically Parker Street, Husky Trail, and Menards parking lot.
Does the road change names at that intersection?
No. Well, it looks like Patterson Road's down below.
Yeah, it's down below. Husky Trail then stops there at Patterson Road. Patterson Road extends down into the addition.
So Husky Trail runs into Patterson Road to
Yeah,
the
no,
east.
Yep. Are those stop signs, are those on private property of
The only one
Menards.
that would be in Menards parking lot. The rest of them are all on our right-of-way. Eric, did you have a comment to make towards?
Joel and I have talked about this. We found a couple of different Indiana codes that. Just walk to the mic there, please. Sorry. Joel and I talked about this. There are a couple of different Indiana codes that we found that allow us to control the traffic coming onto a public road from private property. So under those codes, we have the authority to stop the traffic coming out of to Menards. Otherwise, really, Menards wouldn't have to stop. I mean, they would just be able to enter the roadway, and I don't think we really want that scenario. That's a very busy intersection, and I was actually kind of surprised that these weren't already covered. when I was doing this review. So I think adding the stop sign that is on the Menard side under our ordinance just helps protect us in what we're doing here.
Okay. So we're looking at all-way stop rather than four-way,
Correct.
calling that all-way?
Yep.
And for a layman, what would be the difference?
The only difference really is that we can also have a three-way stop be an all-way since it goes to a T. And it would fall in this instead of as a three-way. Am I correct?
Yes, and MUTCD got away from that several years ago. So generally, if you do see a four-way stop and you're someplace else besides Warsaw, it's gonna be an old sign.
Any other?
Lance, do you want motions
Yeah.
for this, or do you want to do all at the end?
Yeah,
Just do one big motion?
I'd rather do it that way, if you don't
All at the end?
mind. Yep,
And if there's questions, we can amend it as we go.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. The stop sign is on the entrance to Husky Trail. Do they have their own stop signs on the aisles that lead into that alleyway or that throughway? Just-
In
Don't they have
Menards?
private? Yeah, in Menards?
Yes, they
Okay.
all have stop signs,
So there's another stop sign.
correct.
Right, and the stop signs that are located inside the actual parking lot themselves, that is controlled by Menards. They have an option under Indiana code to sign an authority agreement with the police department for them to enforce those signs. However, if that agreement doesn't exist, then it's just a courtesy.
So I'm thinking for our purposes then, it's posted on their property,
In our right of way.
but our officers can enforce it if someone runs there if we make it an ordinance.
Correct.
We don't make it
Yeah,
an
the
ordinance,
signs are in
we,
the right of way, so they're on city property.
Yeah, it's not on their property.
it's on city property. So we need to make that an ordinance anyhow. Okay, good.
Okay, any other questions about map 2? All right, if not, we'll go to map 3, and we've got an addition to this one that I do not have currently on the map. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit off. Joel, if you would pull up Fort Wayne and West. I believe we talked about this last month. And I believe it was left with we would do it
For this- or-
contingent upon the engineering study.
Yeah, so the engineering study's not complete, and the roadway on the other side is not a public road yet, so that's, I don't think we need to discuss that till the next meeting.
Okay, so we'll leave that off of this batch.
Yeah, but we do need to get ahead of it so that when that road is opened and accepted, and that's gonna have a whole nother list of signs for you guys, so we've gotta figure out how
This is
to.
phase 1.
Yeah, but they did pave that road last week, so they're getting close, and Eric's working with them now on all their other signage that's going in there. But I don't have that report prepared to present to you guys right now today. But we do need that's probably good old business for July's meeting or our next meeting to cover and get taken care of.
Okay,
And maybe, I don't know the process of when these should come, but maybe the other signs are gonna be ready to come forward at that point too. I guess that's a different topic, but if they're gonna be installed and they're gonna open the road in the next few weeks, we can get the signs on the ordinance now
Sure.
instead of next year or.
yes.
whenever we do those.
Jack, are there gonna be more than these signs on Gateway Grove?
Yeah, the new road that's continuing
Yes.
west off of Fort Wayne Street is going to have additional signs coming back into I think there's 3 new signs that they're putting up out there. with the
So
new
in
road.
addition to what we have
addition to what
here
we
on
have.
map 3, there'll be 3 more.
Yeah, but I agree with Aaron, we can wait until, we can add those in the next phase once they're all complete and when we take that road actually over. Right now, it's still not a public road.
I believe they're trying to finalize that plat in the July Plan Commission meeting, so I don't know if there's any discussion we need to have prior to that plating. And we-
Again, I'm not that familiar. Maybe once the plat's accepted is when then it comes to traffic to accept the signs. I'm not sure. Cart before the horse in what order, but I'm just thinking through, clearly we've missed opportunities in the past, but now we can get that corrected and know that this might be our first example to do it timely, when these roads become a public road.
So are we ahead of the Plan Commission on Gateway Grove?
No, this part that you're talking about on the map right here is already.
Okay,
that's a
all
separate
right,
good.
so anything the Plan Commission does is not going to do anything.
This is already ours.
Okay, this is already accepted, all right. So I'll go through these real quick then. Map 3, Gateway Grove, and we'll start under two-way. And this also has an addition of one of the one-ways that we're going to remove. Item 28 under one-way is going to be removed from one-way and put into a two-way stop at Union and Main. And if you'll look at it there, you can see where we've got 2. It's 74, 129, 145. That can be a little bit tricky for everybody to understand sometimes because you're taking it out of one, putting it in another, and you're adding and removing and so forth. Any questions about that one?
So your action shows to add,
To add 145 and to subtract or remove 28 under one-way.
Because before Gateway was built, it was just a one-way stop, right there. So now there's two-way traffic, so it's gonna be moved to a two-way stop and out of the one-way category.
Any other questions about that one? Okay, then we'll go down to, we'll stay in the one-way stop area here, and item 308, which is in the upper left, and it is Main Street and Miami Street, the northeast corner. Then we have 309, which is Main Street and Main Street. There's a one-way going eastbound that tees into Main Street going westbound.
This may be a stupid question for a rookie on the traffic commission. Why do we allow so many streets to be named Main?
This is an extension of Main Street.
Not very creative.
I mean, like, I can come up with words.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, Jason, I completely 100% agree with you. I think that needs to be a different name. I don't care what it is, it could be Gross Drive, I don't care.
Right.
But it just needs to be something, it needs to be something.
all in favor? Yes, you did.
Yeah, but which one?
East.
I mean, which one? Like,
As a suggestion, that did bring up some mail delivery stuff already has come
Oh, I'm
up, and
sure.
it's been discussed. I don't know that there's a solution to it, but I know it's come up.
I feel like we're having a who's on first combo.
Well, and dispatch,
Yes.
EMS, fire.
Right.
Yeah, even more important than mail.
And the mail issue was to Atwood, so it was kind of a Google issue. I can see how they got to that point. I would question whether or not we need a stop sign there, or if it could be a yield, because you really would only need a yield if you're going left again onto Main.
Oh, true, yeah.
So I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know how others feel, or I think a stop sign could be merited as well. But I can see
I mean, is there a cost savings to do a yield sign versus a stop sign? I would assume it's pretty one-to-one.
Yeah, the cost would not be a factor.
Yes, it's already out there.
Even if we change that to a yield sign, it still has to go into the ordinance, and it's still gonna be very confusing when you've got a yield sign at West Main Street, Looking at that as well with the Main Street, and then having Main Avenue just to the north of that. Like Lance has brought up, and Joel's even mentioned, this comes to an issue when you have too many roads in an area that are saturated with the same name, and it's gonna make issues, not just for writing ordinances, but for, the safety of the residents in that area. So if it's possible, if we can rename one of the main streets and then even Main Avenue, changing it to something else, I don't know how difficult that is. What has to happen to do that, but I think in the sense of public safety, I think it'd be paramount.
I agree with Eric.
Who does, is that us?
Well,
Yeah,
we don't,
what would it take?
it would take Gateway Grove, right? Or is it Plan Commission?
Yeah, Plan Commission would start that process.
Can we make a recommendation that those names be changed for the help of safety?
Sure.
Do we need to appear
No.
before the Plan Commission?
Now, are you just, no, we can help facilitate that. Are we just talking about Main Ave, or are we talking about the other extensions of Main Street?
Well, this main,
In the lower Main Street.
So the one
The
where it splits into a
original
boulevard.
Because I wonder how many we have.
This is off of Main Ave. I don't know that that'll be addressed for.
Yeah, the north Main Ave should not have any addresses. The southern Main Street, which is an extension of the existing Main Street, is where a two-lane road splits into a boulevard. So I know it looks awkward, but it is still one way in each direction. That one, I don't know if I would support renaming that one, but Main Ave, I definitely could see a strong argument for exploring renaming that.
Looking at this in emergency services, I can see if you're on the Y in the parking lot and you're on Main Avenue or you're screaming for help, there being some confusion. So I think we should, this is my opinion, to get rid of all of the mains except for the Main Street.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so now the motion is to approach the Plan Commission.
Yes. With those changes.
does everybody understand that?
And you know what, Joel, we had a prime example too, on my bus accident I had. What did we have? We're up in, I know it was out in the country, but it was at 400 and 700. EMS went to 400 west, and they should have came east. So and Joel called me on the radio, but that's just like a correlation to what we're talking about as far as for EMS. It took an extra 15 minutes to get paramedics to where it was. And I wonder how many signs we got in the city that are duplicated, as far as not just Maine.
I think they're pretty good, really, except for McKinley
For the
has
most
two
part.
roads, but
Yeah.
other than that.
We have like McCain, or Kincaid Street,
Fort Wayne Avenue.
Kincaid Avenue.
Street.
Any street name, new street name has to go through the database and check to make sure there's no duplicate. There are no duplicate names. Now, there are things like Main Avenue, Main Street, or Jack's Boulevard, or Jack Street, but there's no duplicate name.
Okay.
Now, in this case, I kind of agree with Justin, you're not talking about changing Main Street continues on through, it's still the same street.
Right.
They split the traffic, so you got eastbound and westbound going on a different road, it's still the same street. It may be more confusing to add another street in there, quite frankly, rather than just be Main Street one way, Main Street the other.
So maybe just make a motion to change Main Avenue, so.
Main Avenue, yeah, you could change that,
Okay.
especially since I don't think there's any address.
because there are no addresses on the main street, the south one going, one way going east. Those are all on this next street over here? Is that an alley?
Main Ave is kind of a hybrid.
Main Avenue was a hybrid on the development in order to have trash service picked up off the backside of the houses so it wouldn't bottleneck up the one-way traffic going through. So that it was built to city specs for a road and kind of adapted. So that changing name, the address is still off of Main Street. So to change the name of Main Avenue to clear up a little bit of confusion, I don't see as any kind of inconvenience or anything that's going to screw up mail or addressing or anything of that nature. So
It's not going to provide any additional cost, one or anything.
a new sign.
Yeah.
So we just look at Main Street going west. The ones on the right I see are even numbers. If you come over on the one-way going this way, they're odd numbers. So it's just a Main Street with house numbers, odd and even, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is the same as pretty much, I believe, every other street in Warsaw, though.
Sure.
You know.
The extra wide boulevard just gives it a little awkward feel.
Okay, do we want to do a new motion then? Or are we accepting that first one?
Sure, I'll motion for that.
You'll change your motion to just Main Avenue? Okay, second?
I'll still second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Okay, now that presents us with a little bit of a tricky thing here then, because we'll get to it though. Let's do 310 first. 310 is at Center in Miami. It's at the northwest corner. Any questions? Okay. If none, then 311, which is at the southwest corner of Main Avenue in Union. Now, I believe there's a little, is that sign currently there? Okay, Eric says it's not currently there. So here's the problem. If we pass it through as Main Avenue, then we'll have to come back and pass it through again when the name has been changed, if it has been changed. Or we can scratch it from this and try to pick it up at a later date.
That'd be my suggestion because we have to come back to it and add three more eventually.
Okay. So we'll scratch 311, and we'll pick it up at a later date. Okay. So now we're going to go to map 4. And let's start up in the two-way area, item 146. This is was a little interesting too. When Eric first brought it to me, he had 2 one-way stops here instead of a two-way stop. Basically because Frontier goes on to Sheldon Street, but that also had 2 signs at 2 different intersections going from Frontier onto Sheldon Street. And 2 of them would have been labeled the same thing. And fortunately, I saw that Poplar Street runs into Sheldon Street and Frontier Drive. So by making that a two-way at the intersection, northeast and southwest intersection of Poplar, Sheldon, and Frontier, does that make sense to everybody? Okay, if so, we'll go on. And we will go down to item 312 in the one-way stop. And this is where Frontier tees into Sheldon Street, and it is at the northeast corner. Go on to the next one. 313, southwest corner of Cherry and Sheldon. Any questions? Okay, 314, at the southwest corner of Beechnut Court and Cherry Street. Next one would be 315 at the northwest corner of Sassafras Court and Poplar Street. And I believe that takes care of map 4. Any questions about map 4?
I like sassafras.
You like sassafras?
Good name, yeah.
Especially in a cup, yeah.
On 315, that's only a one-way,
Yep.
because it looks like you would want to stop coming off of Sassafras and coming off of, I assume Cherry comes around there?
Off of Sassafras actually runs into Poplar. And it really, it appears by this map that Sassafras would go all the way out to Sheldon, but that's not the way it is on Beacon. It actually, Poplar starts, wow, Poplar actually runs into Cherry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say it probably, those probably become an intersection here at this rounded area in front of house 132.
Maybe, and I'm not trying to overcomplicate things, I'm pretty new at this. My gut would tell me, like, if I was driving from the cul-de-sac on Sassafras, leaving like the furthest north house, it would feel pretty consistent as if I'm staying on the same road through Sassafras and Poplar. So I would almost expect to have a stop sign on Cherry Street interacting with Sassafras
Yeah.
heading east. Like, yes, it's a soft curve and, you know, you're in a neighborhood, so maybe there's some justification to making sure that traffic stays slow around that curve, because I could see some 18-year-old kid, you know, hightailing it from mom and dad's house. But my gut would tell me is that Sassafras and Poplar, I'm gonna feel like I'm on the same road.
I think, Jason, I could see that just from the map. I've been out there a lot lately because the Sheldon Street project going on, and I've driven that loop many times, and it definitely feels natural to just carry on Poplar to Cherry. I don't know, that just might be me.
Oh, it feels natural to go from Poplar to Cherry.
Yeah, the cul-de-sac definitely kind of feels like it's a spur from what the main movement is. It does kind of, I know looking at it from this angle doesn't really maybe illustrate that the best way, but I felt like when I'm out there, it kind of seems natural to just carry on through there.
Or a yield sign.
Now, Joel, where you've got your arrow right now, is that Poplar or
Yes.
Cherry?
That's
Poplar, isn't
Poplar,
it?
yes.
That's Poplar.
So Cherry probably ends at where the lump is on the corner?
That's what I figured, yeah.
So if we have a stop sign at Sassafras Court, you're stopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 houses. If you have a stop sign going on Poplar, you're going to be stopping all of these, but going to go out to Sheldon Street. Is that right?
Right, and mind you, these stop signs have been in place for the better part of probably close to 10 years without changes, so
Yeah.
shaking up too much of the traffic and changing things around for,
That's a good point.
may not be 100% necessary to ruffle it.
People, but
So they're already there, we're just trying to improve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm with less people angry. I mean,
Good pick.
Okay, so leave 315 the way it is? Okay.
yes.
Map 5. Start up at Allway, item 21. And this would be at the lower left-hand corner of your map, where Petro and Sheldon Street come together. Now, Petro Drive, west of Sheldon is not currently there yet, right? But it's going in. It's in the process of going in.
Correct, when they get the rest of the road built.
And so,
And those stop signs are currently there.
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4 are there.
Okay.
This is a little bit of being proactive and just getting that last stop sign under ordinance prior to, that way we don't have to come back and change this in the future.
Awesome.
Eastbound on Petra, the road is not complete yet. They're
Right.
under construction, so that's where the stop sign is not placed currently.
Proposed to be.
The other 3 intersections are all there.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, we will go down to item 316, which is at the upper right-hand corner of your map 5. And it's Escalade Way and 300 North on the southeast corner. And the next one would be,
Is that the physician's urgent care?
Yes.
okay. All right.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. Not. 317 is Escalade Way and Sheldon Street at the northeast corner. And
The new car wash is going in there, right?
It's actually at the other end.
On, closer to 300 North?
Just be on the opposite side of the road as the urgent care.
I believe that takes care of map 5. 6, map 6. We'll start at 318, which is at the upper left-hand side of your map. 150 West and Executive Drive, southeast corner. In 319, at the northwest corner of Executive Drive and Blue Collar Drive.
It's on the wrong corner. On 318 should be on the
Yeah, the northeast.
corner. You're stopping traffic coming
Oh,
up.
okay, let me back up. Northeast.
I'm trying to think of where we are.
That's by the Family Express gas station out
Okay,
off
so you
of
want to go
McElroy Hill.
here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Because
An executive
That way,
leads
that way
back.
150 becomes a through.
Yeah, 150 is through coming out to 30 right
Okay.
there, so
All right.
you're just stopping traffic
I was,
coming
I
up
was,
to it.
okay.
Just stop signs on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, should be north side.
That would really make some people mad.
It's all right.
They gotta stop 100 feet before the stoplight.
Write a lot of
Okay.
tickets over there.
All right, I'll make these notations and make sure they're changed.
Northeast.
Okay, then back down to 319. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, last map. We will start up at the two-way stop with item 144 at Sylvia's Crossing and Polk Drive. Does that appear to be okay? And then the last one, which would be all the way at the bottom of your list, 320 northeast corner of 300 North and 200 West.
Is
Okay.
that on the right location? Northeast.
All right, so let's see, I've got, as far as changes to what I presented, we're not going to deal with 311. and we're going to change 318 to the northeast corner instead of the southeast. Were there any other changes that I needed to make?
I'm looking at map 7 still with 320,
Okay,
and maybe I don't have the right perspective here, but that stop sign,
that would stop 300 north from crossing 200 west.
200 west does not
Gotcha.
stop there heading north.
300
Cross traffic does not stop, so you need to, there is a
300 is
stop
that
sign.
dirt road?
Correct.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Right out by Ozinga Concrete.
No, it's dirt road, what, from 200 west? Going
From
west to
200
turn?
west, 300 north is a gravel road going from 150 west to 200 west.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So coming up
So all
to
of
200 west.
Coming out of
You
Madison
need a
School.
stop sign, yes.
Okay.
With the proper notations there, I would make a motion to move forward with a recommendation to council to adopt these stop signs into ordinance.
thank you, Dustin.
I'll second that.
Cindy, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Now,
Jack?
if it pleases the commission, I will put this into a draft ordinance form and present it to the city attorney for his fine tooth looking it over and everything, and then we can get it on to council from there,
Very good.
if that works.
Thank you for doing that. Great
Okay.
work on this. That made it easier to understand with these maps and everything. Appreciate your work. Okay. Any other discussion on that? Are we good with everything?
No, thanks, Eric. Thanks, Jack, for going through all those and trying to clean them up. We've made some process or some forward progress on the moving forward and getting these as things are taken in and moving forward, working with Justin and the planning department. So this should be eventually a thing of the past here as far as playing catch up.
Well, this is phase 1 of 2. Eric gave me a long list, and I wanted to make sure that it was easier to digest for this body and the council. And then I learned today that we've got even more coming. So I'm not sure
You'll be old
I'm not
hat
sure
us.
about if this is ever going to end.
Job security for you.
Hopefully moving forward, to what's coming means new development just got built.
That's
Yeah,
true.
instead of
Exactly.
10-year catch-up.
Are there really that many road signs that we aren't allowed to enforce in our community?
Well, we can enforce them. We just they might plead not guilty and
Sure.
tickets can be written, which we're not going to stop. The officers don't know that the enforcement code is not in
Right,
effect.
right,
Right.
right.
All right.
Well, thank
Any
you.
other discussion? New business. Joel.
So we received police department received a Civic Plus requesting 45-minute parking at 111 East Market Street in front of the Village Forest Shop. See if I can bring that up.
What was the reasoning? Just to be nosy?
Just because of people going in and placing orders and coming back out. Apparently it takes up much time to pick flowers. I do not know.
Well, and I think their complaint was that people park there from downtown businesses and then just move and someone else takes their spot. So that 2 hours is completely, always taken all day long. Which I'm sure Cindy sees that.
Yeah,
as well.
I would have to say, I empathize because I have apartment dwellers, employees that, one in particular that's been parked in front of my place for 5 days now, and not moving. So I think it's not just a problem in that area. It is a problem throughout the downtown. And it's not that I wouldn't advocate putting in some 15 or 30, typically, we've only had 15, so we would have to redo an ordinance to do more than that, I think. But I know Terry Sweeney, the new downtown development director, has been working with city, county, parking issues and everything. And I guess I kind of feel like at this point, before we would maybe randomly do something, that we might take a look at the whole downtown. And I think we've got maybe 3 15-minute spots downtown now, but maybe try to lay it out so that it has the most impact for the greatest number of merchants. That's just my opinion, and again, it's not that I don't empathize, because I think we all fight it. Jason knows, we fight it daily.
Well, Eric and I were discussing this, and I will bring that up to Mr. Sweeney as I have a meeting with him tomorrow and kind of get some ideas, and maybe we can report back to the commission on this. But prior, we just moved a 15-minute parking sign from the block right there on the north side of Buffalo and Market over to the next block over. We just did that about a month ago, so this would be putting a spot just back at the end, right there at the alley intersection, 3 spots from where we had one before. So I think it's a little overzealous to make that change right off the bat without some concrete things, but maybe working with the chamber and getting some fresh ideas and stuff, maybe something moving forward with Main Street, but to me, I don't see a high value when we just moved the spot from 3 spaces apart a month ago.
And I have to confess, because I did request that move primarily, there have been construction workers parked for about 3 months in that 15-minute spot. So it was actually not doing anyone any good, and I anticipate there'll probably be construction workers there for another several months yet. So, it seemed prudent to move it where it was going to affect several merchants.
Sure.
And
I do want to share with the commission that there may be a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel with this, where we're examining some higher tech solutions for downtown parking enforcement, which will help us regulate some of these things. So that's coming down the pipeline as far as how our ability to move from our paper system to something more modern. So.
Yeah, ditto to what Justin's saying, because I know you may have worked with Terry.
Yep, he's involved in the
also,
committee that we're
and-
looking at, and so is the chamber.
Yeah,
So
and I
also-
think we maybe need to give them time to come up with a plan, an overall plan.
I agree with Cindy.
Yep.
I also think it will be confusing if we have a 15-minute spot here and a 45-minute spot there. That'd be really hard to enforce. And so I think it needs to probably be consistent, but, with the team, with the mayor and planning, we'll come up with some solutions, I think.
I sort of question too, it seems like the intended purpose is to give people to only park there 30 minutes. Currently, we have people parking there, it's a 2-hour spot, but they're not moving from 2-hour spots. So what's going to keep them from not just leaving their car at a 30-minute spot?
Well, so 2 things. First of all, I agree with Cindy. I think it's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound answer, so I don't think we should do anything. But the reality of what's happening downtown, as far as parking, and I'm not going to sit here and say, Mr. Gross, we have to build a parking. That's not where I am. But the reality of what happens is we have such good development of downtown that creates business. By default, that creates employees. By default, that creates cars. So what we end up doing is each business's employees park in front of somebody else's business. So the development ends up sabotaging the development, right? So, I mean, I can tell you right now, and I'm not complaining, I can walk out my front door and I can tell you who owns the 5 cars parked in front of me. And they don't work for me. My staff's not allowed to park in front of my building. Like, that's our rule. So what we end up with is, regardless if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, it doesn't make a difference. They're moving their car 1 spot, but they're working a 10-hour shift. They're gonna be parked here for 10 hours. no matter what. So it's like every 2 hours, all of downtown walks out the front of their businesses, shifts forward 8 feet, locks their car, goes back to work. So so it doesn't matter what we do. That's the actual problem. So we got to go to the drawing board with Terry Sweeney or whatever and come up with something bigger. But things like this, I think we just reach out to them and say, listen, we've heard your complaints. We understand. We'll try to get something in the works, but putting a Band-Aid on this it's not gonna repair it.
Yeah, back in the day, employers used to threaten to fire employees that parked right in front of their business or another business, but now there seems to be an attitude of indifference to it.
Well, I know of 5 mayors that have had this same problem. So
Yeah.
so it's an ongoing
It's
thing.
ongoing.
Just something you have to look at every few years, and hopefully we can come up with something that works.
Now, what would be great, just throwing out an idea, we do build a parking lot, and then we give like tax cuts to the businesses that employ the people that have to rent the parking spots. And we make them walk from like Center Lake, something like that.
Wrong commission, Jason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're pretty much all in agreement that this is
No action.
going to be, no action for right now, and, okay, thank you. Let's move on to committee and planning reports. Any updates?
I do not.
None? Okay. Other matters may come before the board.
Yeah, I have a couple things just to inform the commission, but do have a contractor coming in to do pavement markings. This will be phase 1 with the latex paint pavement markings. I have a significant list of things that are going to happen, but 2 that will impact the traffic commission and things we've been talking about in recent months. So Husky Trail, where we've changed the right-hand or straight turn-only lane out there in front of the car wash. That will be repainted with the proper markings on it, as well as the dash line to come back after you have crossed that, or across the entrance into Aldi's and the car wash, where you'll have a dotted line for X amount of feet before you can cross over. The other thing is down on East Prairie and South Detroit, our favorite intersection of the Traffic Safety Commission, but that will also be striped with double yellow lines along through there to see if that'll help impact down by Warsaw cut glass and keeping people from going across lane lines and giving each other a little bit more space. It had a positive impact in several other locations we've done this. Hopefully it does the same, but we'll revisit that and see if we have anything else. But they should be in town working on this stuff as well as Logan Street and a whole list of other streets. So we have, I think, probably 13 different streets having pavement markings updated on. So they will be in town doing that this week and next week, most likely, just weather permitting. And then also paving projects. We have an in-house paving project at 4 different streets that will begin next week. So South Bronson Street will be closed on South Bronson, South Harrison Street, and areas at Durbin Street. McKinley will remain open, but those areas will be closed temporarily on Monday for milling, and then we'll be paving each one kind of subsequently on the way back. But goal is to get Bronson from Center down to Jefferson or to the railroad tracks. That will be milled first and hopefully paved back Tuesday, so that'll be a little impactful. We'll adjust put some detour signs up, detour truck traffic down to McKinley instead of cutting over on Bronson, but that will have some impact on travel a little bit, but things will be well marked and shouldn't last much more than a week.
So will both McKinleys be open or just one McKinley?
Both McKinleys
Okay.
will remain open. We are paving Durbin Street from Argonne down to McKinley. We'll jump over McKinley and go from Durbin back down to Hendricks. So should be fairly clear, but we'll have things marked and dispatched to be notified and go from there.
Excellent. Okay.
I did receive a concern call of Winona and Scott Street. It was the day before the last day of school, and the caller, Roger Long, was concerned with kids walking in that intersection, said it was dangerous going through it. And did not have a chance to pull data, do anything, but just, within the next few weeks, if you drive through Winona and Scott, just take a look and see what you think.
Winona, Scott.
I'm sorry.
He's concerned with kids crossing Winona?
Yes.
What are they supposed to do?
Hang
There's a
on.
crosswalk there.
Winona.
Well,
Stoplight there.
it's a
Yeah.
stoplight and a
I don't
controlled
know.
intersection,
Yeah.
so we'll take a look and see if.
We've had
the-
I know of one student hit it on a bike, and the student from multiple witnesses ran the light without stopping, so his foot. We can talk about it later, I just don't know what else we can do there.
Right, just take a look.
Okay. Any other matters?
So, I just, it was on the news and stuff. I had a bus accident on US 30 on the 17th of May. It was at 8:50 in the morning. The driver was crossing where, over by Myers, heading to my shop at R&B. From the time the driver stopped at the light to where the impact was, he already crossed over into the other lanes, crossing over. It was 8 seconds from the time he was stopped and all traffic stopped. So the impact was when he was crossing, 8 seconds later, when he was crossing, he got hit. So
Running
the
a
response,
stoplight.
excuse me?
Running a stoplight?
Yeah, a van ran the stoplight. But 8 seconds later, after the light turned green for the bus crossing over into R&B, within 4 minutes, response was there. Police, EMS, and fire. And I was amazed because my shop is just right around the corner. And it was already, by the time we got the word, I was there and there was already, EMS was already on the ground and they already had the road closed. I mean, it was that quick. But US 30, as far as those intersections, our buses, like I have a memo out to all drivers, they don't cross US 30 unless they are at a stoplight. So, and even if that's in place, which it is, we still have drivers that drive. I sent Joel video of, our bus caught another vehicle passing, that saw the accident. And it's amazing how, you sit there and you watch the video and 8 seconds from when the driver crosses the road, 8 seconds later, that car wasn't even paying attention and ran full, and he wasn't even in the right lane. So it's just, my thing is that, we all have grandkids, we all have students that are driving and all that stuff. It's like they have got to stop and make sure the traffic is stopped on US 30 before they cross. I mean, it just should be something that should be preached all across the board because it amazes me. But I just thought I'd just bring that up. I was impressed with the response of just EMS, police, everybody. It was just so fast.
Thank you, Mark.
That was it.
Any other matters? Let's talk about the July meeting. It's been brought to my attention that that's July 3rd. A lot of people may be on vacation that week.
FYI, the fair is the next week, though.
The fair is the next week. Okay.
I can be here for either one, but
It doesn't impact me.
On the 3rd,
Either
I would
way.
bump it back a week.
pardon?
I would say bump it back the following week, the
Yes.
fair week, to do it on the 10th. There
Can
may
you be here that day?
Joel's always here.
Joel's off. He's off the first 2 weeks of July. Would it be,
Well, we could move
are we going to have an agenda? I mean, would that be a month that we could postpone or cancel the meeting in the month of July?
What's the agenda deadline to submit items? We have like a
We
week
don't-
before or 2 weeks before?
I'd like to at least, 2 weeks before, but
So we could potentially plan on kicking it back a week or canceling if no items come first.
if we kick it back a week, well, either way, we're not going to have Joel here. Can we do without Joel?
You gonna do the,
Who's going to do the minutes?
Yeah, that's the next thing. I think-
David take good notes that week.
I think Lewis can type. I think he can probably.
I'm hunting Pat.
So what do we suggest?
Skip it.
I like Justin's suggestion that if, 2 weeks before, we don't have any,
We don't have any agenda items?
yeah.
Is there anything that, from this meeting or last month's meeting that we need to discuss? Those items that we have from Gateway Grove we'll move on anyhow, it'll be longer than that.
Yeah, we'll take care of those in plan commissions.
Okay. So we'll take a look at, let's see, what is 2 weeks prior to the 3rd? That's the, you have your calendar up?
July 9th, or June 19th.
June 19th, okay. If you have any agenda items, get them to me by June 19th, and we can make a decision at that time. Sound good to everyone?
Perfect.
Okay. Have a good vacation.
Thanks.
All right, any other items? We asked for
Make a motion
to adjourn. Okay, thank you, Jack.
I'll second it.
Second from Connie. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Nay? Okay, you want to stick around some more? Or? All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.